Hey, welcome back fitness professionals. It's the Kman here from Fitness Training Tips. I heard this story the other day about a lady who lost a lot of weight, and she said, wow, I've lost a lot of weight, but geez, I miss my bread. I miss my bread so much. Which brings me to the topic of bread, but not just bread, but carbohydrate. At the moment, there seems to be this frenzy about this carbohydrate syndrome. Oh no, don't have carbs, they're really bad for you. They make you fat and all sorts of stuff. So let's have a look at that. More so from a scientific point of view of this movement at the moment, the anti-carb movement. Now, I've been in the profession for 33 years and there's always been an anti. Let's look at something or someone to blame. You know, is it a macronutrient? Is it a micronutrient? Is it a certain type of food? This is good, this is bad, this is making us fat, this is making us sick. So let's have a look at carbohydrate. It's been around for a very long time and we've been eating it ever since back in the old caveman days. So the process of carbohydrate turning into fat, that seems to be the topic. Now that process of carbohydrate, which is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen molecules, and be converted into fat, which consists of a chain of carbon molecules with hydrogen molecules attached to. That process is called de novo lipogenesis. So that is the restructuring of carbohydrate and converting and storing it as fat. Now, when does this occur? Now, as you already know, being a fitness professional, our body has the ability to store about 400 grams of carbohydrate. So once those 400 grams are fully stored and fully jam-packed, then the body will try to, if you have more carbohydrate than that, it will try to burn off any excess within reason. Because carbohydrate, or when it's in the blood, glucose is a large molecule, it can cause a fair bit of deterioration of the inner lining of the blood vessels, cause deterioration of the vessels as well as the organs that those blood vessels sort of supply oxygen and nutrients to. So it's not good to have too much glycogen, glucose by all means, because glycogen is the storage form of glucose. It's not good to have too much glucose in the bloodstream. So the body tries to bring your blood sugar levels down or your blood glucose levels down by increasing your metabolism to try to burn off that excessive amount. So the body is quite capable of doing that within a certain range. But once you start eating far more than what you need and your stores are full, then the body does have the ability to start to convert that excess glucose or carbohydrate into fat. But what's really important is that only occurs when your stores of glycogen are full. And it only occurs when not only is it full, but you're actually overfeeding yourself. So yes, carbohydrate can convert to fat if you are overfeeding beyond the stores of your body's ability to store glycogen. If they're not full, the body doesn't convert carbohydrate into fat. So a lot of people think, oh no, if you eat carb it converts to fat. No, it doesn't. It only converts to fat if you overeat carbohydrate and your stores, your glycogen stores, are absolutely full. So don't think if you eat bread it's going to convert to fat unless you've already eaten a whole bunch of loaves and you're full, then excess will convert to fat. Now the point being is if you're overfeeding on carbohydrate, there's also a great chance that you're probably just overfeeding on food, which includes carbohydrate, fat and probably protein. So yes, the excess carbohydrate may be converted into fat, but the excess fat is definitely being converted into fat. So it seems to be that we tend to channel our blame to one macronutrient, where really the cause of the challenge is that we're just overeating and overfeeding. Now, if you eat fat, the fat that you eat will be stored into the fat cell. And ideally, if you don't overeat on fat, the body will burn that fat off anyway and maintain a good body weight for you. Same applies to carbohydrate. If you eat carbohydrate, the body will store carbohydrate in the glycogen stores, and then any excess it will convert into fat. But that process of conversion is actually quite inefficient, because you understand when you eat fat, it's already in the structure of fat, so it'll be stored as fat. So it's quite efficient to go from the food fat into the storage fat, and that process will only lose about 2% of the calories in the fat in the storing process. So what that means is if you eat 100 calories of fat, you store about 98 calories of that fat. When carbohydrate, on the other hand, if you eat carbohydrate and you eat beyond your body's ability to store it, then that conversion process is less efficient. It means the body has to break down the molecules of the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen molecules, tear them apart, and then restructure them as a chain of carbon molecules with hydrogen molecules attached to it, then stir it. That process will actually burn off extra calories in the process through those biochemical changes. Therefore, what happens, you would tend to actually lose about 25% of the calories in the carbohydrate in that process. What that essentially means is if you eat 100 calories of carbohydrate beyond your body's ability and it's going to convert it, you probably only store about 75 of those calories. So your body is far more effective at storing fat if you eat fat and less effective at storing fat from carbohydrate. Both of them will contribute to the obesity challenge, and both of them are linked into the overall challenge of you're just eating more than what you need. You're eating more than what you burn off. So I just don't want you to be paranoid and get fixated on this is bad, the bread's bad, the carbohydrate's bad, and that's okay. Actually, the challenge is just have a good balanced eating plan and eat according to your activity levels. It means if you want to lose weight, just eat less than what you burn off. And if you want to maintain weight, just keep that equal balance. But if you're gaining weight, you are eating more than what you are burning off. And that's not just because of carbohydrate, you're probably just eating too much food. So I don't want you to become obsessed and fixated on one macronutrient, which may take out lovely foods that you really enjoy, such as your breads and your fruits and some of your grains and your cereals, which you may enjoy. Just don't eat too much of them if you want to maintain your body fat or lose weight. And don't eat more than what your body can store, and don't eat more than what your body will burn off. It's quite simple. So there's a bit of information about carbohydrate and its ability to convert into fat through the process of de novo lipogenesis, and it's not as extreme as the extremists would try to tell you, because an extreme argument is always a weak argument. We'll see you in the next fitness training tips.